Hello everyone, and welcome to this edition of NASCAR's Team of the 1980s, Melling Racing. Melling Racing is a former NASCAR Cup Series and ARCA Series team who competed from 1982 through 2002. The team had a few different drivers spend time behind the wheel of one of the team's race cars, such as Bill Elliott, Lake Speed, Jerry Nadeau, and Stacy Compton, among a couple others. The team would find almost all of their success in the 1980s, with Bill Elliott behind the wheel of the team's race car, and Ernie Elliott building the team's engines. Starting late in the 1980 Cup Series season, Melling began sponsoring the then George Elliott-owned team. By 1982, Harry Melling just purchased the entire team from the Elliott family, leaving Bill behind the driver's seat. Ernie Elliott served as his brother's crew chief in 1982, running about two-thirds of the schedule. Bill's best start was first at Michigan in late August. His best finish was second 3 times at both Charlotte races, then Daytona in the summer. Overall, 21 starts, he scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 8 top 5s, and 9 top 10s, finishing 25th in final Cup Series point standings. The team finally ran the full schedule in 1983, with Bill Elliott behind the wheel of Harry Melling's number 9 Melling Oil Pumps Ford. 83 was by far Elliott's most successful season to date, spending all season but 1 week inside the top 5 in point standings throughout the season, even leading the points for 1 week. Elliott's best start was second 4 times, both races at Michigan, Charlotte in the spring, and Talladega in the summer. His best finish was first at Riverside in the fall. Overall, in 30 starts, he scored 1 win, 12 top 5s, and 22 top 10s, finishing third in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Elliott returned to the Melling Racing's number 9 Coors Ford full-time once again in 1984. And again, would achieve success. Even more success in 84. With the awesome, powerful engines his brother Ernie was building for the team, the number 9 team's bread and butter were the high-speed speedways, spending all 30 weeks throughout the season inside the top 5 in points. Elliott's best start was first 4 times at both Michigan races, then Pocono in the summer, and Atlanta in the fall. His best finish was first 3 times at Michigan in the early summer, then Charlotte and Rockingham in the fall. Overall, in 30 Cup Series starts, Elliott scored 4 poles, 3 wins, 13 top 5s, and 24 top 10s, finishing third in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Also, 84 was the first season that he was nominated Most Popular Driver, an award he would win a record 16 times. He withdrew his name from the ballot after winning the 2002 award. The 1985 NASCAR Cup Series season ended up being Bill Elliott and Melling Racing's best season that they would have throughout their entire careers, winning a promotion from Winston. If there were any one driver who could win 3 out of 4 crown jewel events in a single season, that driver would win an extra $1 million bonus. Elliott would achieve this feat in 1985, earning him the moniker $Million Bill, spending all 13 weeks atop the point standings, 27 weeks in the top 5, and all 28 weeks inside the top 10 in points throughout the season. Elliott's best start was first 11 times, both races at Daytona, Talladega, Darlington, and Michigan, Charlotte and Pocono in the spring, then Dover in the fall. His best finish was first 10 times, both races at Atlanta, Darlington, Pocono, and Michigan, Talladega, and Dover in the spring. Overall, in 28 starts, Elliott scored 10 poles, 11 wins, 16 top 5s, and 18 top 10s, finishing second in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. While the 1986 season was still a very strong year for Melling Racing, it wasn't nearly as dominant as the season prior. Elliott returned to his now familiar number 9 Coors Ford full-time, spending 14 weeks inside the top 5 and 27 weeks inside the top 10 in point standings throughout the season. Elliott's best start was first 4 times at both Talladega races, Daytona in the spring, then Atlanta in the fall. His best finish was first twice at both Michigan races, as well as winning the All-Star race, then called the Winston, held at his home track of Atlanta Motor Speedway. 1986 being the only year that the event was held at the racetrack. Overall, in 29 starts, Elliott scored 4 poles, 2 wins, 8 top 5s, and 16 top 10s, finishing 4th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Elliot and Melling Racing only continued to add to their legend status in 1987 when they recorded the fastest qualifying speed in NASCAR history at Talladega Superspeedway with a speed of 212.809 miles per hour in their number 9 Coors Ford, never falling lower than 3rd in points throughout the entire season. Elliott's best start was 1st 8 times at both Talladega races and North Wilkesboro races, Daytona, Charlotte, and Dover in the spring, then Atlanta in the fall. His best finish was 1st 6 times at Daytona in the spring, Talladega and Michigan in the summer, then Charlotte, Rockingham, and Atlanta in the fall. Overall, in 29 starts, Elliott scored 8 poles, 6 wins, 16 top 5s, and 20 top 10s, finishing 2nd in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. The 1988 NASCAR Cup Series season ended up being the season that Elliott and Melling Racing would finally win the NASCAR Cup Series championship. After getting off to a bit of a rocky start, from race 6 in Bristol, the team climbed their way to the point lead and never relinquished it. Elliott's best start was 1st 6 times at both Rockingham and Michigan races, then Darlington and North Wilkesboro in the fall. His best finish was 1st 6 times at both Dover races, Bristol in the spring, Daytona and Pocono in the summer, then Darlington in the fall. Overall, in 29 starts, Elliott scored 6 poles, 6 wins, 15 top 5s, and 22 top 10s, winning the 1988 NASCAR Cup Series championship. Melling Racing's title defense didn't start out the way they were hoping when Elliott broke his wrist during practice for the Daytona 500 and required Jody Ridley to relief drive for him during several races for the first part of the season. By race 10, Elliott made it to the top 10 in point standings and would stay there for the remainder of the season. His best start was 1st twice at Richmond and Charlotte in the fall. His best finish was 1st 3 times at Michigan and Pocono in the summer, then Phoenix in the fall. Overall, in 29 starts, he scored 2 poles, 3 wins, 8 top 5s, and 14 top 10s, finishing 6th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Melling Racing also began fielding an ARCA entry on a part-time basis for Greg Trammell behind the wheel of a number 91 Melling Ford for 4 starts. His best start was 3rd at Pocono in the early summer, and his best finish was 2nd at Pocono in the summer. Overall, in 4 starts, Trammell scored 3 top 5s and 3 top 10s. It was a brand new decade, the 1990s. In 1990, the decline of this race team had begun. With the growth of multi-car teams and an ever-evolving NASCAR, they just had begun to fall behind a bit. Bill Elliott returned to the number 9 Coors Ford full-time. Mike Beam took over as crew chief starting in 1990. Now, the team remained inside the top 10 in points throughout the entire season, spending 13 weeks inside the top 5, and all 29 weeks inside the top 10. His best start was 1st twice, at Talladega in the spring and Dover in the fall. His best finish was 1st at Dover in the fall. Overall, in 29 starts, Elliott scored 2 poles, 1 win, 12 top 5s, and 16 top 10s, finishing 4th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. In the ARCA Series, they made 5 attempts, qualifying 4 times, with Greg Trammell behind the wheel of a number 18 Melling Ford. Trammell's best start was 3rd twice, at Pocono in the early summer, and Atlanta in the fall. His best finish was 3rd twice, at both Pocono races. Overall, in 4 starts, he scored 2 top 5s and 4 top 10s. The following season, in 1991, in what would end up being Elliott's final season behind the wheel of the number 9 Coors Light Ford, Ernie Elliott took back over as crew chief for the team in 1991. The team continued to fall off, only spending 1 week inside the top 10 in point standings throughout the season. Elliott's best start was 1st twice, at Bristol in the late summer, then Atlanta in the fall. His best finish was 1st at Daytona in the summer. Overall, in 29 starts, Elliott scored 2 poles, 1 win, 6 top 5s, and 12 top 10s, finishing 11th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. At the conclusion of the 1991 season, Elliot and Melling Racing parted ways. In the ARCA Series, two different drivers made a start apiece in that number 18 Ford. Trammell made the first start at Atlanta in the spring, starting and finishing first. Phil Parsons made the second start in that number 18 Ford in Atlanta in the fall, starting fourth and finishing 21st after a lap 180 crash ended his race early. After 10 years of having Bill Elliott driving their number 9 Fords, they decided to cut back to only running about two-thirds of the schedule, starting in 1992. Four different drivers made starts in the number 9 Ford throughout the 1992 season, the first of which was Phil Parsons, who made the first two starts of the season. His best start was 19th and his best finish was 10th, both coming at Daytona in the spring. Dorsey Schrader was the next driver to make a start in the number 9, making a one-off start at Atlanta in the spring, starting 41st and finishing 35th after a lap 176 mechanical failure ended his race early. The third driver to make starts in the number 9 Ford was Dave Mater III, attempting 6 and qualifying 5 times. His best start was 10th at Darlington in the spring, and his best finish was 16th at Bristol in the spring. Chad Little was the fourth and final driver to make starts in the team's number 9 Ford, making 13 starts throughout the remainder of the season. Little's best start was 12th, and his best finish was 8th, both coming at Talladega in the summer. Overall, in 21 starts, Melling Racing scored 2 top 10s. In 1993, Melling Racing started even fewer races, having 3 different drivers make starts behind the wheel of the team's number 9 Ford. Chad Little made the first start out of 2 that he would make throughout the season. His best start was 17th, and his best finish was 24th, both coming at Daytona in the spring. The second driver to make a start in that number 9 Ford was Greg Sachs at Atlanta in the spring, starting 40th and finishing 23rd. The third and final driver to make starts for the team was P.J. Jones, attempting 11 and qualifying for 6 races. His best start was 14th at Sonoma in the spring, and his best finish was 8th at Watkins Glen in the summer. Overall, 9 starts, Melling Racing scored 1 top 10. The 1994 NASCAR Cup Series season again would see 3 different drivers make starts for the team. The first was Joe Ruttman, making a one-off start in the 94 Daytona 500, starting 34th and finishing 18th. Rich Bickle was the next driver to make starts in the team's number 9 Ford, attempting 11 races, qualifying 9 times. His best start was 6th in Atlanta in the spring, and his best finish was 20th at Daytona in the summer. Phil Parsons was the third and final driver to make a start for the team, attempting 5 races, qualifying 3 times. His best start was 30th at North Wilkesboro in the fall, and his best finish was 15th at Darlington in the fall. Melling Racing went back full-time racing in 1995 with the addition of Spam as a primary sponsor. Lake Speedwood became the team's new driver for both the 1995, 96, and 97 seasons, behind the wheel of the team's number 9 Spam Ford. Speed's best start was 3rd at Indianapolis in the summer of 1996, and his best finish was 8th twice at Charlotte in the spring of 1995 and Pocono in the summer of 1996. Overall, in 103 starts, Speed scored 4 top 10s with a best points finish of 23rd twice in 1995 and 96. A couple drivers made one-off starts while Speed was the team's full-time driver. Jeff Davis made his one-off start at Sonoma in the spring of 1997, starting 42nd and finishing 37th, following a lap 60 crash, ending his race early. Butch Gilliland made his one-off start at Sonoma in the summer of 1998, starting 40th and finishing 24th. After Lake Speed retired all of a sudden, Jerry Nadeau took over from race 18 in 1998 through race 22 in 1999, behind the wheel of a number 9 Cartoon Network Ford. His best start was 3rd at Sonoma in the summer of 1999, and his best finish was 5th at Watkins Glen in the late summer of 1999. Overall, in 38 starts, Nadeau scored 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s. Steve Grissom would take over for Nadeau after he would leave the team to drive the number 36 Pontiac for MB2 Motorsports. Making 3 starts, Grissom's best start was 18th at Darlington in the fall, and his best finish was 30th at Richmond in the fall. Rich Bickle was the next driver to drive the number 9 Ford in 1999, making 5 starts. His best start was 10th at Martinsville in the fall, and his best finish was 20th at Loudon in the fall. Stacy Compton was the final driver to drive the number 9 Ford in 1999, attempting 4 races and qualifying 3 times. His best start was 30th, and his best finish was 30th, both coming at Homestead in the fall. Overall, in 33 starts, Melling Racing scored 1 top 5 and 1 top 10. Midway through the 1999 season, Harry Melling passed away due to a heart attack. This left his son, Mark Melling, to take over ownership of the race team. As the sport entered a brand new millennium in the year 2000, Stacy Compton became the team's new full-time driver of the number 9 Kodiak Ford. Jerry Pitts served as the number 9 team's crew chief until race 28, when Skip Pope took over for a few races before Chad Canals, yep, that Chad Canals, took over as the team's crew chief for the final couple races of the season. Compton's best start was 8th at California in the spring, and his best finish was 16th at Loudon in the fall, attempting 33 races, qualifying for 27 events. Compton had to sit out the fall Bristol race and was replaced by Bobby Hillin Jr., starting 21st and finishing 40th, following a lap 314 accident, ending his race early. Overall, in 27 starts, Compton scored 1 top 20, finishing 37th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. With Dodge re-entering NASCAR starting in 2001, Melling Racing was one of the teams who made the switch to Dodge. Stacy Compton returned to the team, but they changed their number to 92, with Kodiak returning to the team as sponsor, letting Evernham Motorsports have the number 9 to use as Bill Elliott's number for the 2001 season. In return, Melling Racing received technical support from Evernham Motorsports. Chad Canals became the team's full-time crew chief for the 2001 season. Compton's best start was first, twice, at both Talladega races, and his best finish was 10th at Daytona in the spring. Overall, in 34 starts, Compton scored 2 poles, 0 wins, 0 top 5s, and 1 top 10, finishing 33rd in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. The following season, in 2002, Melling Racing would make their final 2 starts they would ever make. Robert Presley made 2 attempts, qualifying once for the 2002 Daytona 500, starting 31st and finishing 22nd after an engine failure with 10 laps to go in the event. Later in the season, Stacy Compton would return to the team to make a one-off start at Michigan in the late summer, starting 23rd and finishing 30th. And with that, Melling Racing never made another start in NASCAR again. So, in 545 NASCAR Cup Series starts, Melling Racing scored 41 poles, 34 wins, 115 top 5s, and 183 top 10s, winning the 1988 NASCAR Cup Series championship with Bill Elliott. In 10 ARCA Series starts, Melling Racing scored 1 pole, 1 win, 6 top 5s, and 8 top 10s. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.